You are listening to the Retina UK Talking Travel Peer Support Group meeting recorded Tuesday, the 18th of March 2025.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Talking Travel Peer Support Group on Tuesday, the 18th of March 2025. For those that don't know me, my name is Rachel Zimbler and I co-facilitate this group. I have Bardet-Biedl syndrome, which is an inherited retinal condition, and I've had that since 2012. So just want to say thank you everyone for joining us today, and I'm now going to pass you over to our speaker. So we have Rayyah McCaul from Traveleyes. She's going to tell you a little bit about herself, about Traveleyes, and so thank you for joining us, and over to you.
Hello everyone. I think at this point I don't mind you all just taking your mutes off and just saying hello, because you know on Zoom it's one of those funny things where you think you're alone until someone actually speaks outside of the room. So hello everyone, how's everyone doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you. I recognise one of those faces, I think.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. It's a real pleasure to join you on a Tuesday night, on perhaps a sunny Tuesday night. I don't know if it's been sunny where you are, but it was a glorious day today here in Leeds.
Nice.
Yeah, and isn't it nice to just get together and talk about maybe going to sunnier climes? Okay. At this stage, you can mute back up again. If you have any questions, please do hold them for the end, and I'll endeavour to answer them as much as possible. I've got a slideshow in front of us here, so I'll be talking through the slides throughout the evening, and hopefully be able to answer any questions. Yeah. So if everyone can mute at the moment, that'd be great. And amazing. Okay, so as Rachel kindly said, I'm Rayyah McCaul. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager for Traveleyes, which means I look after the newsletters, social media, website copy, and do a bit of PR as well. I've been working alongside Amma Latif as his personal assistant, as well as for Traveleyes in the marketing and publicity for 2 years now. And I was very much involved in the relaunch of Traveleyes after the pandemic in December 2023, helping to reconnect with travellers after a 4-year break. And I've been working closely with Amma to make sure the trips are as exciting as they always were. And yeah, so prior to Traveleyes, I was working for a voiceover company, doing some social media for those. And you might possibly recognise my voice in some of the videos I'm going to play today, because I read out the audio description. So, cracking on, what is Traveleyes? Who are we? Let's see if this slide works. Okay, so about Traveleyes. I've just put up a picture of a group of Traveleyes travellers at Machu Picchu in Peru with Amma Latif there.
Oh, I'm coming up here.
So Traveleyes is a unique international tour operator, and it was specifically established to enable blind and vision impaired people to explore the world of overseas travel with greater independence than ever before. Traveleyes is world unique in its field because actually it's not a charity. Traveleyes is actually a commercially operating business. It was founded and is directed by the world award-winning blind entrepreneur, world traveller and film director and motivational speaker Amma Latif. And he designed it to be everything that blind people had never been able to access before with such ease. When Amma decided to set up Traveleyes, he didn't want it to be a charity because he didn't feel like he didn't want to have to go to a charity to be able to travel the world, which is why he set Traveleyes up as a commercial business. And he decided and he did that because he wanted anyone with a vision impairment to be able to book on a holiday the same way any sighted person can book on a holiday, so that it was equal across the board. And that's what he's created with Traveleyes. And so the key feature of a Traveleyes trip is that everyone is on a holiday. Traveleyes holidays are specifically designed to be enjoyed by both sighted customers and blind or partially sighted customers alike. So I think that's exactly what I read on. Then I've just moved the slide to the next slide, but I just read that out anyway. So as I say, Traveleyes holidays are all specifically designed to be enjoyed by sighted and blind or partially sighted customers alike. So moving on to the key facts about Traveleyes. Traveleyes is a group holiday where the group is comprised 50-50 of blind and sighted customers. The sighted travellers are on holiday too, and they act as the eyes and describe the sights for their blind fellow travellers in return for a discount off their holiday price. The key facts are also that there's a fabulous range of worldwide destinations, and we add new ones throughout the year, but we go everywhere. We don't travel to safe spaces as in not adventurous spaces because they're blind and visually impaired people. No, that's not what Traveleyes does. Traveleyes first chooses a destination and then they decide and make it accessible for our blind and partially sighted travellers. So the key feature of a Traveleyes holiday is it is fun, exciting, and a wonderful destination for everyone. And those destinations range from Eswatini in Southern Africa to Cuba to Europe, Australia, Canada, the US, everywhere. So there are no holds bound there. We went to Finland just recently as well, and our travellers enjoyed a wonderful time in the snow, building igloos and all sorts. So yes, we don't hold back in terms of destinations. So moving on to Amma's story, I don't know. Many of you may have heard of Amma Latif, many of you may not, but his story is, probably very similar to many of you may identify with his story. But I want to share why he created this company. So Amma was diagnosed when he was 4 with retinitis pigmentosa. The doctors told his parents that he'd become incurably blind by his mid to late teens. And he was losing his sight gradually over the years, but it was when he was 18 that he totally lost his sight. He woke up one morning and couldn't see the poster at the end of his bed and realised that his life was going to change forever. And he struggled in the beginning. He was planning to study maths, stats and finance at university, and kind of didn't see the point because it's such a visual kind of subject. However, against the wishes of his teachers who tried to persuade him to study history and English, with his dad's support, he did decide to continue down that route and study maths, stats and finance. And with the help of some cassette tapes, and he got his degree. But in his 3rd year, Amma travelled to Canada. He decided to study abroad, and this year abroad absolutely changed his world and sparked his love of adventure and travel. He met people from all walks of life. He had lots of adventures and had a great time. And that stayed with him. And despite graduating and moving into finance, he worked for BT and headed up the commercial division in BT. So he worked as an accountant. that love of travel stayed with him. And after a successful career in accountancy, he wanted to start traveling. And when he approached mainstream tour operators, he faced rejection. They told him that he had to bring a carer with him, and he was mortified because here was this young, independent, successful guy who led a team of accountants underneath him, and he couldn't travel without having someone with him. In this frustration, he decided to turn into something positive. He realized that if you want something in this world, you either have to do without or you build it yourself. And if he wanted travel to work for him, he had to change the way travel worked. So in 2004, he set up Traveleyes. In front of you now is a picture of Amma at Machu Picchu. There's another picture here of Amma with a tarantula spider in Cambodia. But now I'm going to just play for you a little film about Traveleyes, which captures the essence of what Traveleyes really is all about. So I'm just going to play that for you now, hopefully. If there's any issues with the sound, please do let me know. Thank you.
Feet walk across the sand. Amma Latif looks out to sea.
I don't think there is anything that restricts you as a blind person. You know, if anything, I think it heightens your curiosity. And I think sometimes I walk away with a more vivid idea of what something looks like than a sighted person who just glances or takes that Instagram picture and moves on.
Traveleyes.
When I was 4 years old, the doctors told my parents that by my late teens I'd become blind. I remember waking up when I was about 18 years old and I couldn't see the poster at the end of my bed. Walking around, crashing into things. I couldn't see the faces of my parents and my brothers and sisters. And I realised that this was it, that I was now blind. And I remember thinking, I don't want to be that blind person. Blind people face rejection on a daily basis. When I wanted to study maths, stats and finance, they said, no, you're blind. When I applied for a job to be an accountant, they refused me. And then when I tried to travel, I faced the same rejection. It just felt so wrong that, you know, for centuries, sighted people have had the luxury to travel and they're stopping us from accessing, you know, the beautiful world that we live in. And, you know, that feeling actually made me do something about it.
Close-up of Amma Latif smiling.
Traveleyes is an international tour operator that takes groups of blind and fully sighted people on holiday and brings them back. So I can resist that. From the year 2004, you know, we've just grown. Now we're running over 65 different tours a year. We're going to places like Cuba, Peru, Japan, China, Africa, to the more active holidays where we're going on skiing holidays, horse riding.
A group on a sunshine holiday, hiking, guiding and describing.
With Traveleyes, we take equal numbers of blind and fully sighted travellers. And each day, a sighted person is partnered with a different blind person. And, you know, in return for guiding and describing the sights, our sighted travellers go for a reduction in price. Travelling is a liberating experience. And for a lot of our blind travellers who've never ever had this experience before, when they come on our trips, not only do they enjoy a holiday, but it builds their confidence. And that confidence is so important. Because as a blind person, you face rejection all the time and you need that confidence to pull you through.
Amma is guided to a viewpoint looking over the ocean.
When you're blind and you arrive at a new location, You start off with a clean canvas, then you feel the ground below your feet. You feel the sunshine on your face. You hear the foreign sounds all around you. You know, the whoosh of the sea, the cackle of the birds. And then you hear some interesting, unique sounds. It might be the people's foreign accents. And you start to build this rich world all around you. So most of the sighted guides that come on our trips, they've never ever met a blind person before. So we say that they don't need any previous knowledge. We just show them how to guide someone that's blind.
A woman guides Amma and takes his hand to describe the sights.
And it's just amazing. Like, it's so inspiring when you see, you know, 10 strangers who are sighted sharing their sights with blind people who they've never ever met before. And it totally restores your faith in humanity. And they absolutely love it because what they're doing is they're creating more vivid memories for themselves as well. Guiding someone is a very intimate thing because you're holding on. You get that connection and, you know, the barriers come tumbling down. You're sharing something so precious. You're sharing your eyes. It's very inspiring for our sight travellers because they see that, you know, there's blind people halfway across the world. They don't let anything stop them and they think about their own life. Everything gets put into perspective.
Travellers canoeing in pairs.
A lot of people say that on these trips, after they return back, their stomachs just hurt so much from laughing. We just have so much fun. Sometimes the dynamic between blind and sighted is just incredible. And we've seen so many blind travellers who struggled with careers, jobs, as a result of coming on the trip. Seeing what other blind people do builds their confidence and moves on with their life.
Travellers explore a city.
And I've got incredible experiences and memories from 15 years of travelling, feeling the spray of Niagara Falls on my face, bungee jumping off bridges in New Zealand, wine tasting in beautiful South African wineries. You know, the list just goes on and on and on, and there's still so much to see.
Travellers relax with drinks on a sailboat.
So blindness has actually helped me see the world.
Yeah, so that's a little kind of taster of the Traveleyes experience in a nutshell, in a 6-minute nutshell. And that really kind of shares the essence of what we aim to do, and that is to create a holiday where everyone really is just having fun and a laugh, and that's what a Traveleyes group holiday is. It's a very social experience, and I'll explain why that is. In terms of Traveleyes groups and how it works, basically we welcome solo travellers, couples and friends. We have a lot of independent travellers who join us, but we have a big mix of people. Many international travellers as well, from America, Australia, Europe, all English speaking. And the group sizes are between 60 and 20 people generally. And as already explained, half the group are blind and half are sighted. The key thing about our trips is that the travellers are partnered up every day. And every day you swap partners, which is why it's a very sociable experience, because everyone gets to know everyone on the holiday, and friends are made for life, that's for sure. And even some romances. I think I've been to a few weddings as well. So it makes for a very social experience. And solo travellers particularly never have to feel alone, because you meet so many wonderful people on the trips. And the lifestyles range from students to professionals to retired people, and the ages range from 18 to 80. So it really is a nice mix of people that join the groups, and generally, yes, it's everyone has a good time, and that's the key factor really with Traveleyes holidays, that we try to encourage just enjoying themselves and enjoying the new destination that you've chosen to travel to. As mentioned, we have international travellers join us from all over the world, all English speaking, and this enhances any travel experience when you meet people from other cultures, other countries. It just makes for a joyful kind of group dynamic. So how does it work? As I've mentioned already, the partners, you're partnered up every day. So from the moment you arrive at the airport, you're assigned a sighted buddy if you're blind, and those buddies stay with you for the full day. And every day you swap partners, so you get to know everyone in the group pretty much. And the sighted travellers guide and describe the sights. Now, Traveleyes provide all the training for sighted travellers. We send out a package with detailed information about guiding. We send links to a video that Amal Latif has himself made about guiding. But what we say is the most important thing is having a conversation with the person that you're partnered with, because everyone has different levels of vision, everyone has, or not, everyone has different desires for how they want to be guided. Some people, would like to hold the elbow, the shoulder. Some people don't want to be guided physically at all, just want to be told when the steps are coming up. So that really we encourage a continued conversation and a continued check-in in respect of the guiding, and the same in respect of descriptions and audio description. So you receive a live audio description from morning until evening. Again, that's a conversation. Some people prefer like architecture, some people are not interested in that and want to know what the people are like. Some people want to know where their pub is. So there's again, we encourage just conversation, honest conversation about preferences in respect of descriptions. And the sighted travellers receive a considerable discount for providing the eyes and being the guides for our blind travellers. But they are also equally on a holiday. So we try to encourage, those conversations to be easy and natural and joyful and as respectful as possible. We also have specialist tour managers that join the group. So there's always an assigned Traveleyes tour manager on every single trip that goes out. Those tour managers, the Traveleyes tour managers, are specifically there to look after our travellers. They take care of our travellers all of the way, and they're there to support and help with anything. And also to make sure you're having the best time possible. And they also work very closely with local tour guides. So whichever destination you choose to go to, we make sure we get the best guides so that you learn the cultural history of the destination, and you get to experience the excursions in the best way possible, whether they be physical activities or museum visits or hiking tours, walking tours, and learning about the landscapes. We try our best to really provide great local guides for you. So how does it work in terms of room shares? Basically, the standard price is based on a shared room. And room partners are based on gender, Generally, we try and put similar ages together. And if you do fill out a booking form, we do ask you whether you snore or not, because we try and be respectful and help people to sleep well. So we put snorers together as much as possible. It works as much as we try our best to make that work as much as possible. In terms of who shares with who, we ask VI travellers to share with VI travellers. This just gives our sighted travellers a little bit of space to themselves. But if you do come on the trips with a friend or a partner, then of course you can share with them, that's no problem. And single rooms are also available at an additional cost. So that's an option as well for you. How are we doing for time? 7:30, not too bad. So in terms of what's expected of our sighted travellers, for sighted travellers, no experience is necessary of guiding and of blindness. As I say, we send out information with comprehensive, detailed kind of advice on those things, and we send link to the video, and there is physical guiding training on the trips themselves. A sighted traveller is assigned a VI partner each day. You also have a breakfast buddy, but there are details that you don't necessarily need to go into right now, but you have a breakfast buddy who's a consistent person that picks you up from your room, takes you to breakfast, and then we swap to day partners so that you really do get to meet the group. And our sighted travellers describe the sites. Doing so, you get a considerable discount, and it's also a different experience for a sighted traveller. It gives a sighted traveller a more deeper and experience in terms of when you're describing something, you really have to be present in the moment and you have to take things in, which is very different to taking an Instagram picture. So a lot of our sighted travellers come away from our trips having a much more memorable experience. And also they understand more about inclusivity and about blindness, which many of our travellers have never met someone who has a vision impairment before, and they come away more informed, which is wonderful. In terms of what's expected, I think I've been through this already. We do not expect our sighted travellers to have any training. We give all the information ahead of the holiday and during the holiday. And as I say, our tour managers check in regularly and make sure that the sighted travellers are guiding well. They check in with our VI travellers to make sure they're comfortable. And so there's always a conversation, continuous conversation going on throughout the holiday to make sure everyone is happy. And one thing that is very key and that we really try and stipulate from the beginning is that sighted customers really are intended to be there as a holiday maker as well. They're guides and co-travelers and describers, but they're not carers. And we really make sure that everyone knows that that is the case. They're not volunteers, they're not employees, they're not carers. They're really on an equal footing as a holiday maker. And what does it mean to be a blind traveller on a Traveleyes holiday? Well, the world is opened up. It really offers great independence to blind travellers. We had a lady on a recent trip who recently lost her sight and really thought that was the end of her travelling life. She didn't think there was any point in going on holiday, or she didn't really think there was a possibility for her to enjoy travel anymore. She saw Amal Latif on a TV programme, and that inspired her to join a Traveleyes trip, and she had the most incredible experience. It really opened up the world to her, and she was incredibly just grateful and just full of joy that the possibility of travel was no longer cut off from her. In fact, she ended up paragliding. That's how much she enjoyed it. So she had a great time. You also get live audio descriptions from morning until evening, if you want them. But that's just a joyful and wonderful sort of service to have someone by your side and letting you know what's happening in the world around you. It offers you a sense of independence, and also it's an experience for the senses. We do try and make our trips as sensory as possible, whether that's learning how to cook boreki in Krakow or paragliding or surfing. Yes, we've got Costa Rican trip coming up where you can surf and go whitewater rafting. So we don't hold out in terms of the activities that we offer. And what's expected of our blind and vision impaired travellers? All our travellers are expected to have a good level of personal independence. Our blind and vision impaired customers book onto a holiday independently, and they don't need to bring their own sighted guides. If a blind or vision impaired person does have any additional needs, they are very, very welcome, absolutely, but we do ask them to bring their own sighted guide with them so that they're fully supported. Our model of holiday is to enable anyone with a vision impairment to travel independently. So any additional needs, our sighted guides are not trained for that. So we do ask anyone with any additional needs to bring someone with them to support them in that respect. Okay, so moving on. In the press, we've been covered by many publications: The Guardian, CNBC, Travel, Lonely Planet. If you'd like to read any of the articles, and many of them are from both perspectives, the perspective of a blind person or the perspective of a sighted guide, of a sighted person, you can go to our website in the About Me section in the press. You can read all those articles. I can also drop a link into the chat here. I don't know if that's useful for you, but I can also do that if that's helpful. I can do that now. Let's have a look. There we are. Over. There we are. Okay, in terms of booking, the Traveleyes website is fully accessible. Amar Latif has tried and tested it himself, and throughout the 20 years that Traveleyes has been running, he's made sure that website is as accessible as possible. So the point that Amar really wanted in terms of the website was that he wanted blind people to be able to book on a holiday with the same ease as a sighted traveller. So booking is very, very simple. You just fill out a simple booking form, and that will take you through to the payment page. It's all the images have alt text, and the booking system is very, very simple. In terms of finding out about trips, I'll just have a look at that message in the chat. Ongoing trips. Okay, I'll answer that question at the end. And if you would like to find out about our trips first, and we do encourage anyone to sign up to our newsletter, our VI spots, so our blind customers, we call them VIPs, our VI spots, they sell out incredibly quickly. So if you go onto the website, and there's two buttons, it either says book now or it says contact us for availability. Now, contact us for availability doesn't necessarily mean that the holiday is sold out. Because of the way the model works, we have to make sure that there are equal numbers between vision impaired travellers and blind travellers and sighted travellers. So if we have too many vision impaired travellers and not enough sighted travellers, then it's a potential that the holiday cannot go ahead. So what we do is we incrementally release blind spots, blind spaces, and then as the sighted places catch up, then we release more. So if it says contact us for availability, we highly recommend you join the wait list. You might be at the top of the wait list and you'll be called first if a place has come available. But also people do cancel holidays sometimes. So it's always worth getting on a wait list, whatever, if you're keen for that holiday. Some people I know have been on 8th down the list and they still got a call and managed to book on a holiday because people's plans change. There are lots of variables that mean that the people above you on that wait list might, for whatever reason, not be available anymore. So we do encourage anyone to make sure that they're again on a wait list if it says contact us for availability. Okay, I'll whiz through this because we've got about 2 minutes and I think it's probably a good time to answer any questions. So what kind of holidays do we do? Well, we do every kind of holiday you can imagine. We do city breaks, and city breaks include city walking tours, tactile museum tours, uncovering history. We go to world famous landmarks and we visit some of the most beautiful cities in the world. We make sure you indulge in local cuisine. And we always have a local tour guide taking you around that city. We recently had a trip to Istanbul, which went down an absolute storm. It was such a wonderful, wonderful trip. And everyone came back absolutely gushing from having had such a great time. We have trips to Krakow. We have we've just had one come back from Portugal and Sintra as well. We also do discovery tours. Discovery tours mean that we travel further afield. They're off the beaten track very often. You mix with the locals, experience different cultures, explore the world, you discover the history, and you try adventurous foods. Discovery tours might mean trips to Egypt on the Nile cruise. They might mean sun, sea, and going to Cyprus for some sun and sea and local cuisine. There might be trips to Canada to experience the Niagara Falls and the Thousand Islands over there. We also do activity holidays. As I mentioned earlier, we had a trip to Finland, which was another success. Those holidaymakers had an absolute ball. They built igloos, they went snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, they went ice fishing, husky sledding, snowmobiling. They had a private sauna and they experienced the Northern Lights. And yes, they had such an amazing time. And they went to a reindeer farm and met the local reindeer. So that was great. We have a Costa Rican trip coming up, which includes rafting, as I mentioned already, kayaking. I think there's some surfing in that one as well. So we don't hold back, as mentioned before. We have sun, sea, and sand holidays. We had a recent trip to Cuba, which I actually went on myself. It was beautiful, beautiful, wonderful holiday. The last 3 days was spent on Varadero Beach. I would like to say enjoying the sunshine, but the weather did take a turn, so it wasn't as sunny as we'd hoped, but it was a beautiful white stretch of sand, turquoise waters, and yes, just glorious, glorious. So those holidays include relaxing on golden sunny beaches, chilling out by pools, finding a beachside taverna, indulging in cafe culture, rejuvenating in the sun, visiting local markets, and treating yourself to some shopping. We also have UK breaks. If you want to experience a Traveleyes holiday but you're not sure, a UK break is highly recommended because they're the shorter breaks. They're normally three to 4, even 5 days. It's not far. We've got some beautiful places just on our doorstep. It's a good taster for understanding how a Traveleyes trip works. So you can dip your toes in the Traveleyes water and you can discover the best of the UK. And perhaps it might encourage you to try a bigger trip later down the line, something a bit more adventurous abroad. And finally, something worth mentioning is we do what's called school trips. And what we do is we work with international schools. And these are schools of very educated international students who have a high command of English. And our Traveleyes school trips mean that a VI traveller gets 2 students assigned to them to describe the sites and guide them. And then we have a couple of adult sighted guides who have a lighter role in the evenings to look after our VI travellers. And what happens on these trips is a beautiful kind of synergy because the confidence of the students is increased as they learn about inclusivity, learn about disability, learn about vision impairment, but they also learn how to describe things, they're challenged in the way of their in their kind of creative sphere. And then for the VI travellers, they get these enthusiastic students who are so creative in how they describe things that it's really a beautiful kind of combination. And they're very successful, our school trips. And actually the school trips mean that the blind travellers pay a little less for having students describe to them. So it's a cheaper holiday, but equally as enjoyable and fun. And as I say, in the evenings, you're assigned an adult sighted guide so that you can enjoy, a drink in the evening and some chill time there too. Okay, so that's me rabbiting on for far too long. I'm just going to play you out a final video, which is when Amma Latif set up Traveleyes, the BBC got wind of the model of Traveleyes and wanted to make a programme about it. And so what they did was they partnered up Amma Latif with comedian Sarah Pascoe and filmed their adventures in Turkey. So I'm just going to play out this final video, which is called Travelling Blind, and it's just a little taster of that programme.
Title: Travelling Blind, also written in Braille. Montage of Amma Latif in a hot air balloon, cave walking, running downhill, feeling an oil wrestler, dancing in the streets and listening to a beehive.
We're off! So, I've spent most of my life travelling in my own unique way.
Wow, mashallah. Oh my God, look at this.
Whenever I'm abroad, I found sighted folk to guide me.
Is it just 3 of us dancing?
No, we joined in with other people.
Oh, really?
In return, I've shown them into my blind world. You want to listen to this?
It's like a motorway of bees.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Travelling blind is different. We don't snap pictures and then move on. Photos don't really work for us as souvenirs.
A montage of different people on holiday posing for photos.
It's meeting people that bring places to life.
A bustling Turkish market.
And our memories are made by a city's smells and sounds.
Being with you all the time has made me have to acknowledge my inclination to be solitary or not to open up or to be mistrusting of people or to think, why would you talk to the man in the coffee shop? And then you have this incredible experience right in front of my eyes and I realise what I'm shutting myself off from.
There's nothing to be afraid of there. Like, I think at the end of the day...
Some people are murderers.
Yeah,
Some people are. I know, I'm being flippant.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to cry. Up ahead of us, on the slopes, and over to the right-hand side, by the most incredibly huge kind of Stonehenge of willies, but this is all done by the environment. So imagine if there was a lot of giants and they were lying on their back with morning glory and they've all slept very close together and that's what you can see in front of you, just all in the air.
Aerial view of Cappadocia. Amma and Sarah Pascoe are tiny figures standing at the top of a ridge.
For every moment that my blindness frustrates me, I know I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Colourful hot air balloons fill the skies.
It's blindness that makes me travel. And it's blindness that keeps me seeing the world.
End title. Travelling Blind.
Okay, so that's pretty much coming to the end. If you would like to learn more about Traveleyes, learn about what trips that we've got coming up, please do sign up to our newsletter. I'll drop that in the chat. You can also go to our website, which is www.traveleyes-international.com. Or you can call our friendly staff on 0113 834 6094. Or you can follow us on social media at Traveleyes Ltd, and that's for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we're also on LinkedIn. In terms of what we have available at the moment, for our VI spots, VI places, we have Nepal coming up, which is a 13-day trip from Kathmandu to Pokhara, and that's from the 1st to the 13th of November 2025. We have a UK trip, a 5-day trip, the Wonders of the Lake District, and that's from the 4th to the 8th of August 2025. That's a wonderful trip up to the lakes. As I mentioned, you get to boat trips on the Windermere, and you get to ride a steam yacht gondola, Victorian steam yacht gondola on Coniston Water, and many other little visits to local villages, etc. There's the Wonders of the Peak District, similar to the Lake District. That's another 5 days. That's another beautiful trip. Now it's from the 18th to the 22nd of August. And we have another Cuba trip. We've released Cuba again. That's next year. So that should say 2026, actually. It says 25. That's a 12-day trip from the 17th to the 28th of January next year. For any sighted travellers who are on the Zoom, we have the Nile cruise, Wonders of Egypt. That's 10 days from 26th of April to the 5th of May. We've got an Ireland trip coming up. That's 6 days from the 14th and 19th of July. That includes going over to the Isles of Arran. That's a trip to Dublin, where you go to visit the Guinness storehouse and taste the Guinness, learn all about Guinness and taste the Guinness. You get to go to the cliffs of Moher as well. There's also the Lake District trip available for sighted travellers. We've got Peru, going to the land of the Incas. That includes Machu Picchu as well. That's a 17-day trip from the 9th to the 25th of August. We have a Danube cruise, which is an 8-day cruise from the 30th of August to the 6th of September 2025. And we also have a wonderful trip to Canada. Now, Amma Latif was sparked by Canada. He may well turn up on that trip because it will be 30 years since he was actually at university there. So he may well join that trip as well. But that's a 12-day trip from the 1st to the 12th of October 2025. So yes, I think I've talked enough now. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I've not bored you all to sleep.
That was amazing. Thank you very much for that talk, Rayyah. Very informative and definitely given us all some food for thought of where we can travel next on our holidays. So does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask?
I think there was one question in the chat there. Shall I answer that one?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's see, what ongoing publicity advertising do you do to attract sighted travellers? Well, attracting sighted travellers is the biggest challenge for Traveleyes. We have, many VIN blind travellers who want to travel with us, which is fantastic. But in order for our holidays to work, we do need sighted travellers. So we've got a huge loyal fan base of sighted travellers, which is fantastic. We have travellers coming back to us time and time again once they've had a taste of how our trips work, because they're just such fun and social trips. Amalatif has a public face now. He's in the media a lot, so he does a lot of radio interviews. He's been on In Touch many times with Peter White. He does lots of local radio interviews. He also does a lot of TV work as well, which doesn't necessarily mean he talks about Traveleyes, but does kind of open people's eyes, so to speak, to who he is and his story. And so, in fact, I don't know if anyone likes Love Your Weekend with Alan Titchmarsh. He was on that 2 weeks ago on Sunday, I think it was 16th of February, and he was talking about Traveleyes on that trip, which is on that program, which is wonderful. So that was great publicity. So yes, we try our best to spread our kind of fingers in and spread the word, but that is always the challenge, is attracting more sighted travellers. So yeah, social media is another way of doing that, and we try and reach out to different publications. But if anyone has any other suggestions, we're always open to suggestions. So yes.
Yeah. And can I ask, so how do you decide on the locations, and when you decide on like the hotels where you stay, do you go beforehand and check them out and do a recce as such?
For the most part, a lot of these trips have been done before. A lot of these are tried and tested Traveleyes trips. So in terms of understanding the local space and how accessible it is, yes, we make sure that that they are accessible and easy to navigate. In terms of destinations, we don't choose destinations in respect of accessibility. Traveleyes really makes a point of choosing destinations that anyone would want to go to, whether you're sighted or blind. It's only when we decided on that destination that we make it an accessible holiday. So, we just make sure that we find local groups and local tour guides that will make the holiday accessible. We had a trip to Tenerife recently, which Latif and myself we joined for 2 days, and the tour guides had never met anyone with a vision impairment before, and they made it incredible. The trips were so informative. It was a hiking trip. It was a wonderful tour. It was challenging. It was a hike, but that doesn't mean that you can't do the walk. It doesn't mean that it's an impossible task. You have a guide with you, and everyone's given the challenge of enjoying these holidays as much as anyone else. But it's all done with safety in mind. So we do make sure that everything is safe and risk-free.
That's great.
Sorry, Rachel, we've got a couple of hands up. We've got Harry first, and then we've got a number that ends 966. So we'll start with Harry first.
Yeah, that's me.
Hi, Harry. What's your question?
Hi. Good evening. Thank you for the excellent presentation, Rayyah.
Thank you.
You didn't mention. I've never been on a. I know Ammar. I've met him many times over the years, but I've never been on one of his holidays. But I do have a friend who went as a sighted guide on a ski holiday many years ago and had a fabulous time.
Oh, great.
And I also happen to know 3 people who were on that Istanbul trip you mentioned that came back recently, and they were all visually impaired, and they had a great time too.
Oh, good to hear.
But my question was going to be, you don't sound. I've got 2 questions. The first quickie is, you don't screen the sighted guides in any way by the sound of it, or do you?
Screen?
Yeah, I mean, check them out. I don't know. It's a bit of a responsibility you're putting blind people in a position where, you know, these people are going to be looking after them in terms of making sure they don't trip up, and, you know, they're guiding them effectively.
Yeah, no, I completely thank you for your question. It's a great question. We actually we trust our travelers. I mean, like any group holiday, no one, you know, it's a difficult thing to do, to screen anyone that's coming on the trips. You know, we do ask them to fill out a form in terms of kind of, you know, we've got their details, but basically you know, the reason why we have a tour guide on the trip is to create a safe space for our travelers. So if there are any issues with anyone, the tour guide is the first person for anyone.
Okay, that makes sense. And does that tour guide travel with you from the UK to the destination?
Yes.
Okay. So if there's a problem at the airport, the flight gets cancelled or whatever, there is someone there to.
Oh yeah. So that everyone meets at the airport, and it's from that point that we move together and the holiday starts. But they're so experienced. I mean, as you probably will have heard from the Istanbul trip, the tour guides are so diligent, and you know, if there are any kind of niggles or issues, that's what their job is. Their job is to make sure that people are safe, people feel comfortable, and you know, that any niggles are kind of nipped in the bud and dealt with. And you know, yeah, the kind of travel the kind of holiday that we present tends to attract people of a caring nature, and so we've not had any experience, you know, of you know.
That's great. No, thank you very much. I'll go back on mute. Thank you.
Thanks, Harry.
And we've got the other question from the number 966.
Yeah, hi, it's Amrit here. Thank you for informing us about everything. So I've got a couple of quick questions as well. I would like to do more traveling this year, and I did look at the website this weekend, and you know, I don't know if I'm kind of out of touch with pricing, because you haven't mentioned the pricing, but I just found it really expensive. I think from memory that a lot of the holidays were kind of near the £2,000. And I just wondered why that was. Is it, you know, does it include insurance, 4-star hotel? I just wanted to know why, you know, they just seemed a little bit expensive. And secondly, when you talk about the activities such as the surfing and paragliding and things like that, are those people experienced in doing those activities with a visually impaired person?
Thank you for your questions. Great
Those
question.
are my 2 questions. Yeah.
So because Traveleyes is not a travel charity, we have to make sure that our prices are competitive. And we do make sure that they are competitive. When you book on a group holiday, it's very different to booking yourself every aspect of it separately. You're really paying for the service of someone doing all that for you. And so everything is included in our holiday. The flights are included. The excursions listed are included. Most of your meals, pretty much every breakfast for the most part, is included, and a majority of meals, depending on the trip. Sometimes you know, they vary in terms of where you might be in the middle of the day. So having a lunch included doesn't make sense if it's, you know, it's somewhere where you might take a sandwich or something, you know. And also it allows for a bit of variety if you sometimes go for your own dinner, you know. But our holidays are competitively priced against other market leaders. offering similar trips, but also in terms of the other charities that offer what what we do slightly differently. They're quite substantially more expensive than us, and often don't include flights and other things. So we try and keep our prices competitive, but as I say, because we are not subsidized, it has to be viable for us as a business to survive. Our sighted travellers pay considerably less, and so we just need it has to work out in that respect. And you also, our VI travellers get a sighted guide from morning until evening. There's no off time in terms of when you're with someone. You have someone with you for the whole time, and you have a live audio describer with you for the whole time. So it's quite a service in terms of what the sighted guides provide for you. And yes, and as I say, the excursions are included generally as well for all the trips that are listed there. But I understand, it's if we could do them at a lower price, we would. It's a difficult thing when you're a commercial enterprise trying to keep alive in this climate.
Yeah, no, thanks for explaining. That's what I just wanted to know, because I used to go many years ago, and it was with a charity, Guide Dogs. I mean, that was years ago, and obviously prices and times have changed. And I think, because I haven't looked, but, when I saw, I was like, oh, goodness. But, the way you explain it, it makes sense. Like you said, you have got someone with you describing everything. And if I was to book something myself, to be honest, I wouldn't even know where to start. So that is, lovely. Like you said, that everything's kind of done, and you just need to book and get on, the flight, and you're part of a group. If you are solo, you haven't done it for a long time, having that security of going with a large group, and everything you explained, that you're going to make new friends, and I like the idea of that you'll kind of swap, sighted guides each day, because sometimes you can kind of, on these kind of things, end up, with one person, and you don't, get to know everybody in the group. And then just with the, with the activities, are they experienced, with like surfing, are they experienced on doing that with a vision impaired person?
Yeah, we make sure that they have that experience, or we work out a system so that it is a safe and risk-free experience. We recently did, I did it as well, paragliding in Tenerife, and they have worked with people with vision impairment many times, and they were brilliant the way that they just reassured everyone and explained everything that was happening and the process of how it works, what to do. So yeah, we do make sure that all those activities are conducted with full safety in mind.
Okay, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you on a holiday.
Thank you so much for your question. Yeah, I look forward to having you on a holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
I don't think we've got any hands up, and I don't think there's anything in the comments box, I don't believe.
No, Pete's just commented, tour guide on his last Traveleyes holidays last year was amazing.
Oh, that's great. Amazing.
That's great. So if there are no more questions, we are at the 8:10 mark. So just again, thank you, Rayyah, for coming on tonight, for telling us all about Traveleyes. It's been amazing, and I'm sure you'll hopefully be hearing from quite a few of the group, getting inquiries, and yeah, really informative. So thank you once again from everyone for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and
thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
send
you.
you all the links as well, including links to the newsletter and everything, and the videos.
We hope you've enjoyed this Retina UK peer group recording. If you have any questions or queries regarding its content, or you would like to leave us some feedback, then please do get in touch. You can contact us via a helpline on 0300 111 4000, call the office team on 01280 821 334, or alternatively, you can contact us via email at services@retinauk.org.uk. If you are interested in creating your own peer support group and assisting Retina UK to grow our peer support group network and join our amazing team of volunteers, then please do get in touch by contacting us at info@retinauk.org.uk and speak to a member of staff to see how you can get involved. Thanks again for listening, and please stay tuned for more peer support group recordings coming throughout this year. Take care and all the best. Bye for now.